Do you ever feel like you're doing everything right? You're eating better, you're moving more, you're tracking your progress, but the scale just won't budge? Yeah, me too. And what I eventually figured out was this. It wasn't just the food holding me back. It was all the mental clutter. All the overthinking, all the guilt, all the noise in my head about what I should be doing. That was what was weighing me down. So today I want to talk about the mental clutter that made my weight loss so much harder and how I finally started clearing it out. Because once I did, everything started feeling lighter, even before any weight started coming off. So what do I mean when I say mental clutter? It's that non-stop chatter in your head, that voice that says, you're not enough. You aren't doing enough. You messed up again. You'll never figure this out. It's the dozens of thoughts that hit before you even eat breakfast. Should I fast? Should I track macros? Am I eating too much fruit? Is this even working? It's not your body that's tired. It's your brain from all the decision fatigue. That constant overthinking wears you out before the day even starts. And when your brain is exhausted, guess what it craves? Comfort. And for a lot of us, comfort looks like food. This is the season in my journey when I have been just stuck. Not gaining, not losing, just maintaining frustration. Every night, I'd lie in bed, replaying everything I ate, asking myself what I did wrong. Was it the portion size? Was it too many nuts? Was it too many carbs? Was I living in my head? I was living in my head 24/7. Even though I was eating healthy, I was thinking unhealthy. I was feeding my anxiety and that stress. Oh my goodness, the stress. It's wild how much it affects your body. Cortisol spikes, your sleep suffers, your digestion slows, and suddenly your progress feels absolutely impossible. So yeah, my food choices do matter, but clearing the clutter in my mind, I think at this time mattered more. So let's break down what this mental clutter can actually look like, because it will show up differently for everyone. So here's just some examples. Comparison scrolling. Scrolling through social media, seeing everyone's before and afters and thinking, why am I not there yet? That's clutter. Because every time you compare, you stop focusing on your own lane. 2, all or nothing thinking. And you know this one. I blew it today, might as well start over Monday. That is clutter too, because it keeps your brain trapped in guilt loops instead of solutions. 3, perfectionism. The idea that your meals have to look perfect. Your plan has to be perfect. Your mindset has to be perfect. It's exhausting. And it makes you give up faster. Because no one can sustain that. 4, fear of failing again. Now this one hit me hard. Because every time I would lose just a little weight, I'd think, what if I gain all that back? Or more, gain more back. That fear lived rent-free in my head. And it kept me from ever feeling proud of my progress. And you can't move forward while you're mentally gripping the brake. So, how did I start clearing it? Well, it wasn't overnight, but it was one mindset at a time. The first thing I did was just slow down. Like actually pause long enough to hear my own thoughts. I started journaling, and it wasn't anything fancy, no big, huge gratitude journal, but just brain dumps. I'd write down everything I was stressing about. It didn't matter what it was. Food, weight, fears, cravings. The driver that made me mad today. And then I'd go back and I'd read it and I would ask, is this fact or feeling? Because most of the time it was just emotion disguised as logic. And when you name the thought, it kind of loses its power. And once I saw the clutter on paper, it didn't feel so heavy anymore. So here's what I learned. You can't just remove mental clutter. You need to replace it with clarity. So for every chaotic thought I had, I replaced it with something very simple but true. Here's some examples. Old thought, I'll never get there. New truth, I am already on the way there. Old thought, I messed up today. New truth, I learned something new today. Old thought, this is taking way too long. New truth, this is how long healing takes. Peace doesn't come from thinking less, it comes from thinking better. That shift really changed things because now my mental energy isn't wasted on self-criticism. It's fueling consistency. Here's something else I realized. Mental clutter isn't always negative thoughts. Sometimes it's just too many goals at once. I wanted to eat perfectly, exercise every day, journal, meditate, sleep 8 hours, be positive all the time, and on and on and on. No wonder I was overwhelmed. You see all those goals? So I simplified. I picked 3 things to focus on first. Eat nutrient-dense whole plant food, move every day, and manage stress. That was it. And suddenly, it felt manageable again. Because sometimes the clutter isn't in your mind, it's in your expectations. Once I started clearing the mental clutter, something amazing happened. I stopped feeling out of control. When my thoughts were scattered, my actions were scattered too. I would bounce between plans and panic over slow progress and live in constant frustration. But with a clear head, my actions started to match my goals. I started making food decisions from a place of calm and not chaos. I stopped letting emotions dictate what went on my plate. And the craziest part is when the physical progress started catching up. Your body follows your brain's lead. When your mind's cluttered, your habits are inconsistent. When your mind's clear, your habits finally stick. So here is what I do now to keep my mental space clean. 1, a morning mind reset. Before I start my day, I write 1 sentence. What do I need to focus on today to feel peace tonight? That one question keeps me from spiraling into overwhelm. Number 2, 10-minute walks. They're not just for physical health, they're to clear my head. Movement helps process emotions better than sitting and thinking does. Trust me, I have put this into practice. And 3, my evening let it go ritual. At night, I write down 3 things I did well, and then I literally say out loud, everything else can wait. You can't wake up refreshed if you went to bed rehearsing regrets. Those 3 little habits kept my mind lighter. And when my mind feels lighter, everything else feels easier. Clearing mental clutter taught me something big. I used to think I had a food problem, but really, I think I had a thought problem. Because every time I failed, it wasn't because of one meal. It was because of the story that I told myself afterwards. I blew it. I'll never change. I'm not disciplined enough. Those thoughts made me quit more than food ever did. It's not the slip that sets you back. It's the shame spiral afterwards. And once I learned to give myself grace, I stopped quitting so fast. And that consistency built the momentum that I had been chasing for years. Here's the thing. Weight loss is not just physical. It's emotional. It's mental. It's spiritual. And if your mind is cluttered, it's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. So, start unpacking it. Write it down, say it out loud, and let it go. Because the lighter that your mind feels, the more energy that you will actually have to live this journey. Clearing your mind doesn't just make weight loss easier. It makes life better. When you stop believing every negative thought, you start hearing the quiet truth underneath it all. You're doing better than you think. You're growing. You're healing. And you are becoming someone new. And that person, They deserve a clear mind. So if this hit home for you and you're ready to clear out the mental clutter this holiday season, come join me inside the community. We're going to be doing it together, learning how to quiet the noise, find peace with food, build habits that actually last. You don't have to think your way through this alone. We have got you. I'm going to link the waitlist in the description below. But before you go, tell me in the comments, what's one thought or piece of mental clutter that you are letting go of this week? Let's fill the comment section with clarity, not chaos, because this is the season of peace and it starts in your mind. Until our next conversation, stay kind to yourself, eat like you love yourself, and keep going. You are doing better than you think, my friends. Bye for now.